Hello and welcome. We are back. We should be getting into the game soon, and this time we're gonna see Glorious Gaming go up against CBA and very. We saw Glorious Gaming fall to Fast Esports. This is definitely not an easier match.
It's definitely not, and the side of CBA need to bring their A game just for the fact that they've got so much on the line right now. The schedule's really tough, as next week they have Fuzzy Esports and Orphus Gaming, and with them all around the top three right now, it's a lot to be contested. You really need to not drop this game if you're the side of CBA.
Yeah, so both teams they are fighting for Glorious Gaming, their playoffs hopes. CBA, they are really looking for that top to buy after winning the last split. Anything shorter than the repeat is going to be a disappointment, so they need to play like the top team in SQ1 today. And we of course go straight into the picks and bans. Vayne taken away from Vayne God. What are you going to expect, really?
And we have the Zoe taken away as well. Kind of not a surprise, although it wasn't banned last game. Hold on, I got a message. We might be having some technical difficulties. So the side of GG, their support currently has black screen. They might have to remake the lobby. If it doesn't fix itself, we will let you know.
Alright, right now it seems that we'll just be going through the picks and bans as slowly as possible, at least for the side of Glorious Gaming, and we can just keep talking about what's going on. So Sejuani, the ban against Unknown Swede, or just in general, a strong jungler can gank early, provides the front line, and you don't want to be playing against it. It all makes sense.
Yeah, and we see Hecarim taken away from Samus. Again, not really a surprising ban. He's shown he's more than capable of literally 1v9 on this champion. He does so much proactive in the early game. So, not really a surprise.
Right, and now the last ban is the Silas against CBA coming out of Glorious Gaming. I mean, really no surprises there with the both teams, with the bans. We'll see what they will decide to pick. Still hoping that the black screen issue is going to be resolved as Nico. The second champion for Hank is also going to be denied from him.
I can confirm it is not fixed, so I've asked them to dodge on their third ban so they can see all the bans come through. And we will get him back into it.
Alright, so we saw the 3 bans, maybe we can talk about it a bit more. Silas being taken away from CBA. Now, I don't quite remember, but I know that Silas is for many teams one of those picks that you can make work fairly effectively.
Yeah, and it's not really a surprise. He's just able to play 3 different lanes too, so it's just a reliable pick. Getting it off the team is really good to do, especially when the side of CBA have played it a fair bit.
Yeah, they definitely did. Now, also, I want to touch on the bans from CBA, namely the Zoe and the Nico Heng being focused yet again. Last time we saw his Akali not be very impactful. I'm going to just put it that way. And now we'll see what he can play, because he really only plays the Zoe, Nico, other mages, and then he's got the Akali LeBlanc for the assassins. I mean, his champion pool is pretty deep. But I really want to see him pop off on something I didn't see him pop off on yet.
It's kind of also why I think it's so smart of CBA to actually ban out the Zoe, because he didn't look that impressive on the Akali. Like we said, it didn't really have a great time on the Akali, and taking away his best champion is always a solid option. And I can confirm, sorry to interrupt you, Kachka, that the support has no more issues. Screen is fixed, so we should be flying through this. And not really a surprise to see the Karma come through again.
Yeah, and this time it is Glorious Gaming getting their hands on it. Perun has spammed it a bit in his solo queue in top lane. However, it can be flexed all across the map. Hank Rokusho can also play it. Maybe Whisper if he feels like it, though I do see him more in that traditional marksman role. Something that we actually need to point out, I feel like we need to point out, is there is an emergency sub top lane for the side of CBA.
There is, and to be honest, I don't think it'll be much of a difference, as I'm looked at his champion pool, and it looks very similar to what they're used to playing with. It's very similar to Kalina's, so it's not really a difference. And I really like this by CBA, what they've just done. I want them to hold off for AD carry pick till second rotation. I know Vanguard has quite a wide champion pool, despite people thinking he's just a Vayne one trick. I know he can do a lot more than that, so I really want to see them hold off pick AD carry either second rotation or even pick it here now that Akasa's been revealed, because there is something hidden. I don't want to say it unless it gets locked in.
All right.
Jarvan and Yumi are obviously very solid picks. Can't really go wrong with picking either one of them, especially as they've been very consistent when they have to pick these champions.
Why is the other? Samus, he's known to play those kinds of junglers that gank a lot. Last game he was playing the Trundle? Am I mixing things up? I think he was playing the Trundle and it wasn't that great. However, debated by the Hover yet again, it is going to be the Camille.
Samus was on the Rammus last game.
Okay.
I believe the Camille will be going into the jungle as, again, Samus has played this a lot. He's very proactive, he likes to early gank, he likes to be perma-ganking all the time, and it used to be considered really good into Jarvan. So, I actually want to see this go to the jungle. I don't want to see it flex at all by the side of GG.
Makes sense. Akali is now going to be picked for CBA. My question is really, where will it go? Are we going to see it mid by Paulson or top lane by Sinipa? I really don't know.
That's the thing. Both of them have played it. Sinipa has played it, and so has Paulson. So it can go either. And I'm happy that they're doing exactly what I'm thinking. They're hiding the AD carry pick to second rotation, because if there's not a set amount of CC, I believe the AD carry will come through. I'm not going to say it still till it gets picked. So I'm liking where this is going right now.
Yeah, Sivir just taken away in case CBA want to go for a Sivir Yumi bot lane, whereas the side of CBA themselves are focusing Hank with the bans. LeBlanc, another champion he played extensively in the SQ1 Champions League, is now going to be denied. I would expect another mid lane ban, but I'm struggling to think which champion could be good, and as a result you just take away the Nautilus because it's still open and it can still be picked.
You can't go wrong with an Aatrox ban. I can always get behind banning Aatrox, especially after what GG just witnessed after playing against Aatrox.
Okay, let's just wait. What is the pick? Could be an AD carry. I think it should be an AD carry, since you want to leave the top lane or mid lane pick. And well, you told me what the secret pick is. I know it wasn't Ezreal, so instead we're just gonna get the Ezreal.
Can't really go wrong with Ezreal. Yumi Ezreal, it's really obnoxious and quite hard to deal with. So I'm not surprised. I would have liked something else, but I'm not surprised. Can't really go wrong with something that you're comfortable on, and it's just guaranteed safety. Yumi doesn't have to stick to Ezreal in this. She can literally just go on Jarvan and just make so much of hard AoE to deal with in a team fight.
I really like where Glorious Gaming are taking this with the Cassiopeia. The only worry I'd have is they played scaling last time. It didn't end too well. They go for the Alistar, which locks Karma up in the top lane.
But to touch on that, they did have a Rammus jungle in that game. Now they've played about with something different. They have a Camille jungle. They have something a lot more proactive and a lot more different gank patterns. So surely they're going to work around that a bit differently this game, and they're going to be a lot more proactive because it's going to be a lot easier to pull off these ganks. So I feel like they are adapting, but they are still sticking to scaling. You are right there.
And CBA, they are going for the snowball. I don't think there's really any other way to put it. Ezreal Yumi, the only lane I'm going to argue is not hyper aggressive, but the top side of the map, the Jace, Jarvan, Akali, is going to be an absolute death ball in the first 15 minutes. And CBA, they are one of the top teams, currently on 10 points in the second position. So you would expect them to know how to utilize that to its fullest.
You would think so. And we have the TP coming out from Akali. I like this. I'm not really surprised because you don't really want to look for Ignite against Cassio, because then you're banking entirely on that all-in and hard snowballing it on that lane. Instead, you're just going for safety. You got a triple TP on the side of your team. Not really much you can go wrong with that.
Alright, and let us remind ourselves what is really on the stakes as we are going into the spectator delay. Glorious Gaming, they lost their last game against Fuzzy Esports. They are still on 5 points. They are still behind the cohort in the 8th place. if they lose here, they're going to be in a tough position because they will have the maximum of 6 points, and that will mean that the only way in which they can make playoffs is through a favorable tiebreaker scenario. Just a reminder, the rules for the SQ1 are so that the tiebreakers will always be resolved based on statistics. You can read that in the rulebook. I'm not going to quote it here. There will be no tiebreaker matches, and so getting the wins in the regular season is the utmost priority. And
we have in the chat the votes going on right now as well. It started to swing towards CBA. It was 50-50. We are 66% in favor of CBA winning this matchup. And I hate to sound one-sided. I don't disagree with the vote right now because I feel like CBA have drafted a more solid comp. It's more all-round. It has a lot more safety, especially if it gets behind. Unlike the side of GG's comp, when they get behind it, it can be really hard to come back in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like this is where we have to take a look at who is the person for the side of Glorious Gaming that needs to make sure they don't fall behind. Because for CBA, well, quite simply anyone. Most likely, Sinipa, Unknown Sweet, and Paulson are going to be the main people we look at in the early game. But Glorious Gaming, I really only think Samus is going to be the big playmaker. However, he is playing a Camille, which is a plus for him.
To be honest, I think he is the main vocal point of GG, and that doesn't get emphasized enough. Samus actually tries to be as proactive as possible. Even in the game lost not long ago, he was still trying to make things happen for his team. So I feel like he doesn't get enough praise for how much he actually does for the side of this GG. So I feel like he is going to be the main focal point of this game, especially for GG. He will be making a lot happen, and he needs to.
Yeah, but then what lanes are we really looking at? Ezreal, Yuumi, nearly ungankable, unless you see Whisper and Rokusho have a lead and push in. I just don't see Ezreal and Yuumi dying. Then ganking a Kali is always tricky, so the only lane really that's left is the top lane.
That's true, but there's one point I want to pick up on.
Okay.
So, in a lot of CBA's games, and this has very consistently happened, Paulson gets first blood. Most of the time it is a solo kill. So I still believe the main focus is going to be around mid lane. It might even be a solo kill, who knows. But I think it's going to be another one of them games where it's literally going to be level 6, where a lot of the action is going to happen if Camille doesn't get her early keys off correctly.
Alright, well, this is where we are looking. The last game was decided at one mid-game fight around the Drake. We'll see if this one will be a bit different. If you are rooting for GG, or if you are a member of the GG, you sure hope it goes differently, because things go very much downhill if you lose here. Whereas CBA, I mean, it is just another day in the business for them. They are looking to show why they are currently second, maybe even try and contest for the first spot, but I think the semi-bye is what they have their eyes at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And we also have Glacial Karma coming out this game. We don't have Klepto. We're going with a Glacial, and I don't disagree with it, because if you go to harass with Klepto, especially onto a Jace, you're going to buy off more than you can chew, and you're going to actually get traded back quite heavily. So to go Glacial and just provide a bit more utility towards your team, I think that's the better option here. The only other viable option in my eyes would have been Airy. So I'm actually glad he opted towards Glacial this game.
Alright, we are going into the game. Fingers crossed, no pauses. Seems that both teams are in. All the items are bought, so we should be loading into the Rift. CBA go against Glorious Gaming. Once again, I really doubt there will be any sort of invade, so most likely just a standard cover from both sides.
Yeah, I suspect standard 5-point. Nothing's really going to happen on either side, especially in the early game. And I believe we'll see both junglers to start red buff.
That is going to be most likely the case. It's what we see pretty much all the time. Junglers starting red, then... I mean, I'm not good at jungle pathing. I just notice the patterns that happen most of the time. There is that one ward actually being placed by Unknown Sweet on his red buff, so he might be starting towards the bot side and spot out for maybe any attempts of invades.
I do like when junglers do this, picking up the early sweeper. I think it's a really smart move, and it does actually deny a lot, especially when you're against a jungler like Camille.
Okay, now OG, they are grouping up for delayed push in. I don't want to call it an invade just yet. Most likely throwing down the ward. You see Paulson, he throws it down onto the Raptor camp, and he's going to be able to spot out where Samus is pathing, which is crucial against a Camille. Her early ganks are just so potent.
And to mention, Ezreal is making early money. He's picked up a gold sack off one cheeky Q, and it's going to be interesting to see where Camille's pathing. She is walking towards this bot lane straight away.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if anything happens, just because Ezreal Yumi is a safe lane, not necessarily a level 1 if you don't start E, which, well, is not what you are most often doing. Rakusho, he's going in aggressive. That's a level 1 Alistar though. You're not getting an engage off unless you burn your flash.
I think it's a bit too obvious when Alistair's walking past a wave, especially level 1. You should let the Camille do all the work there, and then maybe flash pull, because no one's going to see that. If an Alistair's walking past the wave level 1, you know something fishy's going on.
However, there was that ward placed down as there's a lot of trading in top lane. Perun losing his health. Rakusho just goes in for a headbutt pulverize down in bot. Perun burns his flash in the top lane in the meantime. No one dies just yet.
And Swede was there in the right time, in the right place. So Perun definitely had to flash, especially such a good trade by Siempa. Not really much you can do. This Jace is already coming to fruition early.
An unknown Swede is invading Samus, trying to contest for that blue buff. Both junglers level 2. Samus going forward with the hookshot. Unknown Swede down to a half health. That's a flash away. Flash forward. Samus gets the first blood.
And this is the person you want the first blood on. We talked about the Camille pick and how much this pick is going to try to snowball. And getting first blood on Camille is a good start to getting that snowball.
Rakusho goes in onto Vanguard yet again. He's trying to use that push to punish the side of CBA with that Alistar. It's gonna be tough though, just because you get outpoked, and we're gonna have to see him do it many more times before bearing any effect.
See Jace just chipping away at this Karma bit by bit, and it's just gonna get even worse in this matchup for this Karma, especially when Jace is playing this matchup so well already.
Unknown Swede is around that mid lane. Hank is very far forward. The Shuriken flip doesn't land. And the Jarvan is moving in behind, trying to steal those Raptors as Samus is doing the same across the map.
This is really smart by both junglers, because both junglers are looking for a mid lane gank after this, so we might even see them collide. But it's going to be whoever plays more towards that jungler. You see Camille is coming towards that side.
Hank doesn't have any mana. That will be a problem. Moving forward now, Samus is gonna get spotted on a Tribush ward as he was attempting to get a gank off in the top lane. Instead, Sienpa just spots him out and he's gonna be fine. A small CS advantage in top lane and in mid lane for the side of Glorious Gaming, but not a whole lot other than that happening.
I'm still expecting the level 6 power spikes to be the main focal point of the game, because I don't see a lot happening right now unless Camille finds Jarvan 1-on-1 or there's a collapse happening. So I really do not expect anything to happen until we hit level 6 mark.
You see now Vanguard and Yasuo pushing that bot lane, which means the wave is crashing towards Whisper and Rakusho. It could in theory allow Samus to gank. However, now Hank could be in a lot of trouble. The flag and drag connect with the knockup. That's a flash away on the Cassiopeia. Paulson still going in. He has to get out as the turret was hitting him.
He wants to make sure this Cassio has to burn her teleport, getting that damage on her, getting the electrocute off. It's just actually so important there to stop her staying in this lane and make her use that TP.
Hank is able to pick up the tier, but not much more than that. And yeah, he's gonna have to be very mindful about when he's recalling and when he decides to push the wave, as he doesn't have either his flash or that, you know, get back in a lane card in the form of the teleport.
And we also have a serrated Dirk coming through for Jace right now, as opposed to two Doran's rings on the side of Karma. So now this gets quite scary for Karma, because you don't have much armor, And
Okay, Sienpa going in with the flash, pulls Perun back into Unknown Sweet. The Flying Drag doesn't quite connect, but Perun doesn't have the flash, and the Jarvan will be able to get himself the kill.
This is exactly the point we were just touching on. It's like, as soon as you hit the spike on Jace, especially with Karma not having armor, she's just going to get bursted, and she's not even opting towards building armor. She has a double amp tone right now.
Yeah, Perun's still a while until he goes for something like the Seeker's Arm Guard, or maybe if he wants to go more for the armor. I think Iceborne Gauntlet is likely, actually no, never mind, I'm trolling right now. I think with the Glacial Augment, we are most likely going to see the Twin Shadows into Hextech GLP build.
Yeah, that is the build what will come through, but I still think you need to opt for some armor, otherwise you are going to get really hard bullied in this matchup by this Chase, especially with him taking an early lead as it is. It's going to get even worse for him now.
That was a good smite steal from Unknown Sweet, secures the scuttle and is able to put himself slightly ahead in terms of the jungle camps. 36 to 28, that's a difference of 2 camps right now for the jungler of CBA.
And he's looking to keep his lead as much as possible. Kamiya's a little bit harder to farm in the jungle, so just keeping that lead, keeping ahead as much as you can, it's already a good sign for the side of CBA.
Now Sinipa going forward on the Jace to disguise. He knocks Perun away, and I can definitely see your point. You do need some armor. However, that's a roaming Cassiopeia. Hank in the top lane, no flash on Sienpa. Can't he get out? The answer seems to be yes.
And he just casually walks away from that gank. He does have boots early, and especially with Acceleration Gate, it's really easy just to escape that gank. Not really much threat.
Oh no, Samus, that was so damn close. Paulson using the perfect execution, and Samus has to burn his flash to get away.
Very actually lucky to get out alive in that, away from that Akali there, so you can see Akali is starting to get strong. She does have her revolver. She is sitting on 900 gold currently, so she's not really going to be basing anytime soon.
And I really like to notice the small details that might not matter as much, but you can see the pings coming through. Samus pinged, okay, we know what, I'll save it for later, because now Vanguard is going to get engaged upon. No mana there, but Unknown Sweet is there to save the day. Catalyst Whisper doesn't get quite out, but the shield is enough. The Kaiser stays alive. Unknown Sweet, the last tick of Ignite does not get him. Samus now looking to continue the chase. The heal is burned by Yasuo. No one ends up dying, but all of the summoners from the Glorious Gaming bot lane have to be burned.
We do actually have quite a big gold lead coming through for Vanguard. He has a 300 gold lead on Kaiser. He's sitting on 2.5k gold right now. Nearly 2.6. And he hasn't even based yet. He's starting to base now. So he's going to come back very strong in this matchup.
Alright, there's something that I did try to say before that bot lane fight is, after that play in the mid lane, Samus pinged a Kali flash. Now I have no idea how that comes to like. I'm not sure if that was a legitimate flash call, but what I'm saying is Glorious Gaming could be surprised when Paulson flashes away, and if we see Samus ever overextend on a gank in the next 5 minutes, then at least we know why.
And he is lurking towards that mid lane, but I don't think anything's going to happen with Kali being so safe towards the tower. She is really difficult to gank still, despite all the changes and nerfs she's received over a long time. It's still a Kali. She's still got dashes, she's still got a shroud. Very hard to pull any ganks off on a champion like this.
10 minutes in, the first Dragon, the Infernal, was secured by Glorious Gaming. There is a slight gold advantage overall to CBA. The top lane difference in the CS, also what you mentioned with Vanguard being ahead thanks to that Klepto, is the reason for that. Mountain Drake will be up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. I am still waiting for those junglers to make the plays. The ultimates are available, however, now in the bot lane. Another headbutt pulverized. That is the killer instinct. They really want to get onto Vanguard. Whisper bursts him down. That's a 2v2 kill going to the bot lane of Glorious Gaming. The action's not done yet. Look at the top lane. The root is coming through. Perun picks up Sienpa. That's 2 more kills. And Glorious Gaming, they are fighting in the early game.
And this is what they need. They need something to turn this game towards their favor and keep any snowball potential they have going. And getting these kills is going to put them in the right way to actually start doing that. We're getting tower plates coming through. The Herald is started on the top side of the map. Now can they keep this lead is the big question of GG.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to say, I am so impressed with Rokusho. The aggression he displays on an Alistar. It is hard to play Alistar into poke if you are not experienced. And this guy knows exactly when he can go in, and together with Whisper, they just engage. Vanguard cannot escape, and that is a kill. In a lane that has so much safety, that I'm gonna say probably shouldn't have happened.
Definitely shouldn't have happened, and it's gonna prove a lot harder now. Kaiser does have Storm Razor coming through.
Senpai's trying to go in onto Perun in top lane, still no armor on the Karma. However, there seems to be enough sustain, shielding, and everything on top of each other to negate any big effect. Now, CBA, they are going to have the priority over bot side, and they do secure the Mountain Drake.
Good move by CBA. You need to take whatever victories you can at this point, and a Mountain Drake will do nicely. It's a really good dragon to have, especially. Just helps you siege and helps you take objectives. Always just really useful.
Yeah, especially if you consider that you have the Jace, you want to take towers, especially in that mid game when he's going to be on the side lane. Baron is also going to help, but the reason I wasn't really focusing on that is because CBA's Baron damage isn't the greatest overall.
No, not at all. But the weird part to point out, this is weird for GG to actually back around a dragon, because we've seen last game how much priority they put on getting dragons, even if it was risky.
There was another trade in the top lane as now final chapter is issued. That's 4 members of CBA in ball lane. Whisper is blown to smithereens. Yasuo getting that one. Rokusho is now under tower, but with the ultimate still up on the Alistar, he's going to be safe.
And you see the Akali got the priority and be able to roam down here as soon as she could, trying to shift whatever lead Kaiser has back in the favour of CBA.
They could be looking for quite a lot of plates. I'm not sure if they can get the entire tower. It is going to be responded with by that Herald. Rokusho, he's going forward. The Unbreakable Will is still available. He pops that right now. Actually, look at how much time Rokusho is buying. He might die right here. Unknown Speed actually has to flag and drag away to safety. That's going to be the first tower. Most likely going to Glorious Gaming in the mid lane.
A really good reply by Sam. As soon as he's seen that play happening towards bot lane, he passed straight towards mid and used that Herald with Cassiopeia. There's not really much Akali can do because she can't really step up with Camille sitting there.
CBA can't even get the bot lane tower. That is the first start in the mid lane at 14 minutes, basically for free. I guess Rokusho had to use all of his cooldowns, but not having your flash on an Alistar, traded for having a 1.5 gold lead against the CBA in a must-win game, is something that CBA will be content with.
And Cassio is actually accumulating quite a big gold lead right now. She has 5.7k gold earned overall to Akali's 4.6. So that's a 1.1k gold lead in this mid lane. And if there's someone you want to be online, it's definitely this Cassiopeia, as she's picking up her haunting guys right now.
Yeah, still not quite stacked with the Seraphs in Grace. However, it's only a matter of time. In fact, you know what? I won't talk about it because there is an engagement in the top lane. Perun has the focus resolve to keep Senpai in place. You know, they probably shouldn't get that excited about the top lane fights. They're just going to be this back and forth all the time. Now Sam is looking for a gang in ball lane. Teleport from Paulson. CBA will be looking for something. The final chapter is still down. Rokusho still no ultimate, no flash, no ignite, absolutely nothing on this Alistar. That's Vanguard with a kill. Samus is the next target. He's knocked up, uses the blast combat, has absolutely nowhere to run. He's trying to get in onto Vanguard, but it's too little. It is too late, and CBA get 2 kills.
Them just being able to pull the trigger first, especially with that teleport coming through. Shouldn't talk just yet.
Well,
collapsing.
Yeah, Petrifying Gaze is gonna secure the kill. That's a target for a kill trade in the top lane.
I still think that trade still favours CBA quite heavily. Being able to pick up those 2 kills and getting a tower in the top lane is more than worth it. Especially when you was a little bit of gold behind. You're clawing back at whatever you can get. And you're going to get a tower in bot lane too. Overall, just really worth it.
Whisper is very close to Unknown Sweet, and the Cataclysm is available. Unknown Sweet now into his Rico. He's going in, gets knocked up onto Rakusho. Cataclysm onto Whisper. The headbutt pulverized into the wall. Rakusho has to throw down the Unbreakable Will. That's 2 ultimates and a flash just for the Cataclysm.
Just how dangerous a Jarvan can be if he's just sat there, which he was. Just being able to pull that trigger at any time and just getting free cooldowns for nothing. It's just so good to actually stay around his bot lane.
Oh no, Perun, 1 versus 2, is gonna go down.
We had a teleport come through Ezreal there. That's why he got there. Able just to pull off a cheeky Ezreal gank with the Yuumi attached.
We get the information on how many plates were taken. Glorious Gaming took 8 and the first tower gold, whereas the side of CBA took 6. And I feel like this kind of reflects how this game has been going, this back and forth, but overall pretty close altogether.
It's pretty close and it can still go any way. We do have a dragon coming up, there is another mountain dragon. So the side of GG cannot let this drop, especially 2 mountains will aid CBA, especially with a Baron.
Yeah, we said that the damage might not be the best. 2 mountains do fix that problem. Now, that's an engage onto Unknown Sweet. He has to burn the Starport. Will he able to get out? Flashes out. Sam is still going forward. He's gonna get the kill. However, can CBA answer? The exhaust is down onto Samus. Rakusho uses the headbutt probably to his demise as Vanguard gets one back. That's flash forward. Mystic Shot doesn't connect onto Samus. And now the Ezreal is flashless. Paulson going over the wall. Perun throws down the slow zone with the Hextech GLP. He's still in the front line. The shield is going to connect. And now he has to flash away as well. So far, it's a 1-for-1 in kills. And it seems that it might stay that way. Though CBA are on the chase. Yenpa in the front. And he's finally going to give up.
Petrifying Gaze is still available. I'm still waiting for that trigger to be pulled on the turn, but I don't think anything's going to happen. I think they're just going to back off and to secure the dragon on the side of CBA.
I think if you are Glorious Gaming and you want to teamfight, you need both of your engage tools to create enough space for Hank and Whisper to work with, and when Rakusho isn't there, that's why they are hesitant to commit.
They are looking towards trying to make something happen, but they're just getting poked away. Nothing really can happen towards here. I'm just gonna walk away with a free dragon.
Hang on, throw something miasma. The Iceborne Gauntlet from Vanguard is really good at keeping the targets away unless they get close, because Samus jumped forward with that hook shot. Now there's a lot of damage being returned. The true shot barrage also going to go down. It's such a close game, but I feel like CBA are just getting the upper hand in those engagements. They get the dragon, but it is an immediate answer with a turret. It's so hard to decide who actually is in the lead. Sienpa on the flank. Hank is low, and therefore Glorious Gaming will need to disengage.
See, with having an Ezreal and a Jace together, they synergize so well together, because you're able just to keep poking away and play more aggressive on these side flanks. And not allow them to actually be able to get to you, because you're able just to be so slippery and just chip away at them bit by bit. And that's all they was trying to do, just trying to poke them low enough to a point where they can just force an engage.
Teleport from Perun. Glorious Gaming want to keep that turret alive. Headbutt pulverized onto Sienpa's Jace. Rakusho loses half of his HP for that. The turret stays alive, the wave runs short. Baron is up in just 15 seconds. And both teams will be looking to gain some sort of advantage. Maybe gain a pick as Samus jumps into 2 members. Pulls and deletes him. And now he keeps going forward. Final chapter gets the root on Perun. That Karma is gonna be in so much trouble. Vanguard, one more auto attack. Gets him on a killing spree. CBA get 2. And now they will be looking to get some objectives from that.
I'd be hoping that they'd be looking towards the Baron. You do have a Yuumi who can sustain that Jarvan up. I think the Baron is a good option with you having 2 mountains right now. Ezreal does have his mana moon fully completed as well, so looks like they're just going for safety. They don't want to take any risk whatsoever, and they want to keep the lead in this game.
And let's take a look at what the gold is right now. If you take out the differences, the 2 major ones that I feel like are important is Hank being ahead of Paulson by about 1,000 gold, and a similar gold lead being built up by Vanguard against Whisper. It shows you that out of the 2 carry pairs of the teams, you really have one each that is ahead of the other one.
And there's quite a difference in gold between top lane too. Jace is accumulating a lot more gold, and he does have double lethality coming through right now. So he is at a scary point for sure.
Glorious Gaming grouping up. They have their eyes set on the top lane tower. Getting it down will help them a lot with Baron Vision. There is really no contest as Paulson is split pushing his heart out in bot.
Yeah, why not? Who's going to actually answer Paulson? There's not really many people who can on this team, and if there's anyone who can, it's Cassiopeia, and she's up here in this top lane.
Hank has got the TP, therefore I would assume that Glorious Gaming sent him down after this reset, but Paulson might even be able to secure a tower in the meantime, and if Glorious Gaming overcommit in bowling, that potentially opens up the Baron for CBA.
See, the thing is, how can you go to answer this Akali if you're not being allowed? That's what this Jace is trying to do. He's trying to deny any base, but they didn't see Hank Hankerson recalling closer to the broken tower in top lane. Did get a recall, but they still lose the tower for it.
They lose the tower, now the reset coming out from Glorious Gaming. CBA will be able to set some vision, and for what feels like the first time in this game we have one of the teams, namely the CBA, having a firm grasp on their lead. They are 2,000 ahead, but it feels like they know exactly where this game is going. They've got control over large areas of the jungle, and the Jace Ezreal duo that you mentioned, together with the Yumi, is doing such a good job of just making sure that Glorious Gaming can't engage.
And right now we do have an Inferno coming up in 40 seconds, so it's going to be a big fight over that. See the job and trying to bait it.
That was very unlucky hook shot from Samus. He might have to pay with his life, and sure enough he does. Both Cataclysm and Perfect Execution are going to be used.
Forget the dragon. I think we're going straight to the Baron here. Camille's off the table, and we know Cassiopeia's bot lane. The only person who can answer is in the bot lane. She does have TP, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Perun is behind the pit, but he's not reckless. I don't think the Karma Q steal is going to be there. He's going to try, and he's not going to succeed. Actually, Whisper is in the pit. What are you doing there? Vanguard is on a rampage. That's just another unnecessary kill being fed over to CBA.
I think that was a desperation call by GG, trying to get whatever they could from the Baron. See if they could actually try to steal it with the Kai'Sa or the Karma, but it just appears too much.
That's a nice knockup. Rokusho should ensure that Hank gets out. Second Inferno is for Glorious Gaming. Really silver lining at this point, but it will help them if this game goes for another 10 minutes.
Seems GG have a good record of getting 2 Infernal Dragons, but what they can do with it is another difference.
Right now it is a Baron buff on the side of CBA. This game, of course, much closer than the previous one against Fuzzy Esports for Glorious Gaming. However, they still need to win that. Just because it's closer doesn't help them at all. They are in the end game. One more game apart from that, and they are dead last in the race for playoffs. So these out of the 8 teams that still can make it. So how do they really do it?
Side of GG?
Yes, how do they try and come back?
Honestly, you really need to hope for a big Cassiopeia Petrifying Gauge right about now, because she is the one with all your gold. She is your main carry right now. You need to be able to pull the trigger before you get poked out.
Well, talking about the Petrifying Gauge, Paulson forces it just like that. Rokusho now going in, trying to get Vanguard. He's stuck in the front line. He's pretty tanky. Paulson uses the second part of his ultimate. He's going to go down. Samus is going to be the return kill. Sienpa going in, that's a good headbutt away. It's a 1-for-1, but CBA get the tactical victory as they force Glorious Gaming to retreat.
And there's a bot wave coming in right now, so they're just going to wait and let most of the cannon do the work. Just poke away where they can.
Oh wait, that's gonna get Gyazu. That was an impressive miasma. The damage is enough. I don't think it's going to be huge for Glorious Gaming in terms of that they don't get anything, but they break the siege from CBA.
That's all it's going to do. It's just going to stop them sieging anymore. They're just going to be forced to base and just return to sieging when they have all 5 members back alive. They do not have any TPs right now, so I don't expect much split push. Although they could still opt for the 1-4, as Akali still is really strong. She's at 2 items. Nearly got her 3rd item. So I don't see much happening other than the 1-4.
Alright, and Hank is the guy, of course, that we always have to keep watching. We saw it happen when Paulson went in. Rakusho was there already on the Alistar trying to threaten the engage. And yes, Hank was forced to use his ultimate, but it could have ended much, much worse. It's a 3-item Cassiopeia. That shield is crucial to keep Hank alive. And every single fight, I'm just gonna have my eyes set on him, and as well at the same time, Unknown Sweet and Paulson, because they are the two guys that will try to dive this Cassiopeia and get her out.
The one thing I want to point out right now, Jarvan just became a lot more annoying for the side of GG coming through with the gargoyles and the warmogs right now. He is going to be very hard to take down. He's just going to be literally diving in there, tanking up as much as he can, being as annoying as possible before GG can actually burn him down. I just want to see... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we are getting a fight instead. Rakusho goes in as the Cataclysm in the backline. Look at Hank. He's down to half. He's still alive. Petrifying Gaze only onto the Jarvan. Unknown Sweet has to flash away. Paulson is in the backline. That's already 2 for Glorious Gaming. Vanguard is dominating, putting in the Mystic Shot to Whisper. Only Perun and Hank are alive. That is a 5 versus 3 that CBA are in favor of.
And it's not going to stop here. They're still able to see. So look at Jace going in the bot lane, getting a free tower.
Probably the inhibitor as well, as there aren't enough members to respond by Glorious Gaming. CBA, they push their gold lead with that Baron buff. It is now at 7,000. Over actually nearly 8,000 as you see Siempa going in. That is a lot of good damage by Hank. However, the second inhibitor falls. Second inhibitor sure to follow. Glorious Gaming, they lose 2 inhibs. The Baron buff, I believe, has already run out, at least for the CBA. But this game is just looking so hard to come back from.
So CBA did do the 1-4, and they proved they don't even need CMP to win a fight right about now, because they just have so much damage coming through from the rest of their carries. All they have to do now is just escort that top wave in and just poke away, let the minions do the work, because what can you do against this side? If you can't pull this trigger for this Cassio, it's just going to prove too little too late, because you're getting poked out, minions will win the game. There's not really a lot left on the table for GG right now.
And I feel like we should take this time to actually talk about the CBA members that made this possible, because they are one of the top teams. We are expecting this kind of game, either stomp or control. I mean, it is hard to stomp sometimes, especially with this kind of composition. But look at Vanguard, he's 6-1 and 6. 3 items completed. He's staying alive in, well, every fight. The only death was the one from the laning phase. And he's putting in the work, and he's making sure that GG do not get a chance to come back.
Yeah, he understands that he made one mistake during the laner phase. And because he understands that, he's just been able to play so safe and temper his aggression, know when to go forward. And you see the experience coming through, because he's only died that one time, and he's learned from it straight away and said it's not going to happen again.
The Baron is now up. Full vision control for CBA. Glorious Gaming are trying to sneak in, but some of their wards create some pockets of vision they can play around. However, there is an inhib in the ball lane down in favor of CBA. They have all the time in the world to wait, and it is the side of Glorious Gaming that will need to pull the trigger at one point.
And it is a big wave coming in that bot lane. They need to be able to do something very soon before that hits. The second super wave is nearly there.
Perun is gonna flash out from the Cataclysm. Hank is in the front line. That's a shield movement speed. Rakusho looking for the engage, but the slow stops him in his tracks. The Mystic Shots from Vanguard just keep the engage inhibited. Now Rakusho is rooted up in the front line. Has to flash away. That's Siempa going over the wall. The turret is destroyed. The Nexus is slowly getting dismembered for the side of Glorious Gaming, and they don't even win the fight. That is a 2-for-1 in favor of Glorious Gaming. Samus is going to go to one back. Hank actually going forward. He's trying to get something. He's going to get Unknown Sweet. So far a 3-for-3. Whisper has to go gold, and Vanguard is going to get the kill right here. That's the double for the marksman of CBA. And with 2 inhibs down, just Samus being alive, CBA are looking to take the game. Surely Samus, he has absolutely nowhere to go. That's an ace completed by CBA.
And like we said, they have to pull the trigger before the minions win the game, and the minions are pretty much doing that while CBA just kept them occupied. And they're just going to end the game here.
Yeah, CBA They controlled win against Glorious Gaming is all I have to say. They're looking for the Nexus. Rakusho is just going to be annoying in the last minutes. However, CBA, they pick up their 11th win against Glorious Gaming.
It's a little bit of a rough game for CBA in the early game, but as soon as they identified what was going wrong in the early game, they slowed down the game for themselves and was able just to keep that Akali roaming towards that bot lane. Every time she roamed, she got a kill for her team. It doesn't have to necessarily be on her. And was able to do so much with seeing the Jarvan come in on flanks all the time and just being very hard to shut down.
And the Glorious Gaming, it is not looking great, I do have to say. They are on 5 points. They went 0-2 today, which were tough matches. In their defense, they were tough matches. Fuzzy Esports and CBA, currently 2nd and 3rd, and we saw how strong these teams are. And not really much more to add. If Glorious Gaming want to make playoffs, they need to rely on a miracle, because Royal Reapers and Phoenix Horizon, each getting one more win, disqualifies Glorious Gaming from the playoffs, provided that they win their match next week against Vaptrox.
And that being said, CBA do get the much needed win for their game, especially with a rough schedule up ahead. This is the type of momentum they need, especially going into a week against Fuzzy Esports and side of Orthrus Gaming. So this is definitely the momentum you need, and they're going to look to carry that over till next week.
Oh yeah, I agree, because right now the situation in the top 3 is that Orthrus Gaming, CBA, and Fuzzy Esports all have a chance of locking in the top 2. OG and CBA are sitting in those top 2 spots, and they have a quite healthy lead over the other 2. And basically, CBA have to play both OG and Fuzzy Esports. If they win both of these games, then they could... I'm not sure if they actually lock in top 2, but they are very likely to, well, secure it for themselves. And the same for all the other teams. And with how CBA played today, I am really excited for these matches next week.
Definitely, if they can keep this tempered aggression playstyle and just keep up how they're doing right now, you know how they play, and they're sticking to their playstyle. They don't change their playstyle at all, and because they play their own game, they find a lot of success.
Yeah, definitely agree here on this one. Also, just something to point out that I have been informed by Reed, is that Glorious Gaming have a 1-1 record against Phoenix Horizon and a 2-0 against Royal Reapers. Which, the Royal Reapers are in a game right now, I believe, against Fuzzy Esports. So if Royal Reapers win that one, then the only team that Glorious Gaming can tie with is Phoenix Horizon. So it's not looking great, but I think we should really stop talking about the negatives. CBA get the win. They show why they are in the top 2 right now, and they are looking dominant. And I think if we learned something today, is that definitely our top 3 teams are something very exciting to look forward to.
I think you definitely got to be excited for next week's games, so make sure to tune in. We've got a bunch of games on YouTube as well. If you've not checked any of the VODs, if you want to watch any of your teams, what you like, there's still a lot to watch on there. And that is it for today's games.
It very much is. We will be on this channel on Monday at 19 European time, 6 p.m. if you are in UK. So definitely make sure to be there. But for today, that will be it. So have a good night.